The sun blazed in full glory over the golden sands of the desert. The scorching sand felt like it was on fire, and even the winds carried the intense heat. Not a single cloud was visible in the sky. Most desert creatures had taken shelter from the unbearable temperature, but a lone and majestic rhino, tall and strong, was wandering in search of a shady place to escape the heat. The rhino moved slowly, placing his heavy feet on the hot sand, scanning the surroundings, but there was no sign of relief. The heat made his breathing heavy. Suddenly, in the distance, he spotted a patch of muddy land, where wet earth shimmered under the sunlight. Seeing this, a spark of hope lit up in his tired eyes. He rushed toward it, just as a thirsty traveler would dash toward an oasis. As soon as the rhino stepped into the muddy patch, a wave of relief washed over him. The cool, damp earth clung to his thick skin, shielding him from the sun's relentless rays. He rolled in the mud, enjoying the refreshing sensation. Finally, he had found a way to escape the heat. But this wasn't ordinary mud. It was sinking sand, quicksand, a deadly trap that slowly pulls everything into its depths. The rhino gets stuck. When the rhino tried to step out, he realized something was wrong. His legs were sinking into the thick mud. He pushed with all his strength to lift himself out, but each attempt only made him sink deeper. Half of his massive body was now trapped in the quicksand. The rhino let out a deep, thunderous roar, but in the vast desert, there was no one to hear him. The more he struggled, the faster he sank. His strong legs had almost disappeared beneath the surface. Only his head and upper body remained visible. Panicked, he let out another desperate roar, as if calling for help. At that very moment, a photographer who had come to capture the beauty of the desert saw the entire scene through his binoculars. Realizing the danger, he quickly grabbed his phone and called the rescue team. About half an hour later, in the distance, a large black rescue truck appeared, kicking up a trail of dust as it sped toward the scene. Attached to the truck was a heavy-duty crane. The team assessed the situation and carefully maneuvered the crane closer to the struggling rhino. But there was a problem. If they pulled too fast, the rhino might sink even further. To counter this, they first poured dry sand around the quicksand to make the ground firmer. Then they tied a strong rope to the crane and wrapped it securely around the rhino's massive body. The rhino was terrified, but he had no other choice. The rescue team slowly operated the crane, cautiously pulling the rhino upward. He roared in distress, thrashing around, but the team remained determined. After a few minutes of careful effort, the crane successfully lifted the rhino out of the deadly swamp. As soon as his massive feet touched solid ground, he joyfully shook off the remaining mud and wagged his tail. His eyes gleamed with gratitude, as if he wanted to say, "You saved my life."